Chuck, you.
Yeah, I muted myself.
Oh,
We're,
okay. Okay.
we're all set to go, so
All righty. Well, let's get started then. We have
I pinned
everybody
you, so
that's.
you're.
Okay, well, let's start this meeting. It's 10:03. I apologize for the computer issues. First, I had no Wi-Fi. They got that fixed, and now I had no voice, I guess. But anyway, let's get started. Do we have Luana and Richmond?
I'm here, and I saw Richmond was also here. Betty,
Yes, I'm
thank
here
you.
as well.
Okay, great. Let's get started then. First off, we're going to do our two speakers because that is probably more important today to hear what they have to say, and we will catch the business meeting after that is over. First, I'd like to introduce Luana Pinasco, who is currently the president of the National Continuing Care Residents Association, or NACRA, as we know it. That is our senior national group that we belong to. She is also very an active member in her California VaCCRA, I guess is what it's called. It's her community residents association. Luana is a native Californian, and she has lived in Verena at Fountain Grove, a Gallagher senior living community in Santa Rosa for a number of years. She is a retired attorney and has managed solid waste companies for 45 years. She was president of the Verena Resident Council from 2017 to 2021 and reelected to that position in 2023. She serves as a Finance and Management Committee member, chair of the Communications Committee, and website of the Verena website. I think she's got a wonderful background for what she is doing with NACRA, and we'll hear more about that in just a few minutes. Richmond Shreve, who is also on it, is on the NACRA board of directors. He's the forum monitor and hosts also Club Express. He's our key point of contact for Club Express and the forum, which is a very active group right now, and I think he'll talk more about that now or in a few minutes. Richmond lives in Pennswood Village, Pennsylvania. He was a former Navy communications technician with NSA. His career has involved roles in contracts, marketing, and a CEO of an industrial park. In retirement, he writes, develops websites, and supports NACRA and other nonprofits. He is our go-to person for the computers and Club Express website. So welcome on board, both of you. And I think topic is to talk about NACRA refocuses and rebuilds. This has been a project that Luana started when she became president, and I think it's going very, very well. And I personally, from perspective as a board member, see a lot of changes that are coming, which I think are for the good. So Luana and Richmond, let's get started.
Well, thank you, Betty, and thank you all of our fellow VaCCRA members. We appreciate you allowing us to present here today. We're excited to tell you about what's been going on with NACRA, so I will just begin. Particularly today, I want to highlight for you the benefits that are available to you as VaCCRA members and the value of your NACRA membership. Sometimes people don't understand. They're paying $25 a year to NACRA, and they don't know what they get, except sometimes they get their lifeline, and they want to know what more they get. So today we're here to tell you what NACRA has been doing for the past year, as well as what we're about for the upcoming year, and the value of your NACRA membership that you are paying in your VaCCRA dues. As Betty mentioned, my term began last May in 2024, and since that time, we have met regularly every month, several times, trying to rebuild and refine NACRA's mission to better serve seniors living in managed communities. We believe one of our major accomplishments has been expanding NACRA's vision and mission. We no longer are focused only on those residents living in continuing care retirement communities or CCRCs or life plan communities, as some people call them. We are now advocating for all seniors that are living in managed communities. This broader scope enables us to be more inclusive and impactful. To support this expanded vision, we have updated our bylaws with Betty and her group's help to introduce what we are calling affiliate organizations. These organizations can now join NACRA through a memorandum of understanding without requiring all of their members to become individual NACRA members. Additionally, elected officials in these affiliate groups could receive complimentary memberships. Our goal is not to absorb or take over any existing organizations. We aim to foster connections and strengthen networks. Affiliate organizations maintain their autonomy while benefiting from NACRA's resources and support. As VaCCRA members, you have a unique advantage. You are automatically part of NACRA. This means you receive full access to our tools, resources, and the Club Express platform, which streamlines operations and enhances efficiency. Your dues allocation reflects this partnership. $25 supports NACRA's national mission and services. $10 remains with VaCCRA to fund your local initiatives. But the value goes far beyond dollars. Club Express provides professional grade infrastructure handling. This involves membership management, dues collection, renewals and reminders, bulk emails and communication tools, website hosting, and document storage. Utilizing this system ensures operational stability, so leadership transitions in your organization don't disrupt ongoing work. Instead of worrying about databases, payment systems, or website maintenance, VaCCRA leaders can focus on advocacy, outreach, and community building. To help maximize these benefits and your understanding of your benefits, NACRA is prepared after this meeting to host an interactive Zoom webinar for VaCCRA members. This session will walk you through how to leverage the Club Express platform and get the most out of your membership. Looking ahead, our goal is for NACRA to become a central hub where seniors can connect through our website, forums, and blogs, access valuable information, best practices, and shared experiences, participate in advocacy efforts and organizational growth. Our guiding principles remain connect, engage, enhance, learn, and share. We encourage every member to get involved, whether it's through forum discussions, volunteer committees, or running for board positions. Your participation strengthens our collective voice. A quick note, because I receive and see many emails regarding the emails that people get when they're on the forum. So as NACRA members, you can customize your forum notifications to focus only on those topics that you're interested in. Richmond Shreve, who outlined this process in the January-February Lifeline newsletter, remains available for any questions, as well as is here today to talk about the Club Express and this function if there are questions. I currently am seeking re-election to the NACRA board, and if re-elected and chosen as president, I will continue working to expand our impact on our community and further our mission. But it's only together that we can ensure that seniors in managed communities nationwide receive the representation and support they deserve. Through collaboration and dedication and our shared visions, we are making a real difference in the lives of seniors. Thank you for your commitment to NACRA and VaCCRA. I look forward to another year of growth and meaningful progress with all of you. And just as a note, I want to remind people, hopefully you received your ballot in an email to vote for in our current elections that are ongoing and will end at the end of this month. I think it's the 29th. That is when the last day to vote. It came to you in an email, and there will be a reminder that will come out in case you missed the first email. So please check your junk and your spam if you haven't seen it. And if you have an issue, get a hold of NACRA so we can make sure you get your ballot. Another reminder is that we are holding the NACRA annual spring membership meeting on Wednesday, April 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. So we hope to see all of you at that meeting. Also, when you vote, you will be able to vote for our revised bylaws for NACRA that Betty chaired the ad hoc committee that rewrote those for the NACRA board. And I just want to give a shout out to Betty and all her group. I think Sarah Coleman is on this call. She also participated. So thank you all that worked on this project for NACRA. And Richmond, do you have any comments, or if there are any questions, please let us know.
I don't have anything to add, but I'm ready to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Any questions for Richmond on the forum especially, or anything to do with the Connect program, Club Express?
I just wanted to say that one of our residents, BJ Herrick, really appreciates Richmond's work as forum moderator. She says his comments are on target and concise, and she sent me an email with some of them this morning.
Well, thank you. That's very, very nice to know.
Also,
a question, what do you plan on doing with the forum, especially those, specific topics that seem to be hot items?
That's a I regard it as a gold mine of opinion and information. So what I am doing is taking the threads, the series of uh, statements and replies and questions and responses, and condensing them into blog posts that I put up. So rather than having to pick through a long conversation and review it, you can, the topics that are the most active, I will be and have been putting into blog posts. These you can find when you open the home page or any page on the site. Along the top, there's a list of drop-down menus, and one of those is titled Blogs. And if you click that, you will see the blogs that we offer. And then the articles will be summarizing some of the threads on the forum. But I would encourage you not to hold back and just look at the summaries, but engage with the forums. There's some really, it's really a deep well of information, and it also is wonderful to see what's happening in other communities around the nation. So I encourage you all to just kind of browse through and see which topics are of interest to you.
And I
Thank
just,
you. Go
Hi,
ahead.
I have a question to Richmond also. This is Naomi Willie. I'm in Covenant Woods. So my question, Richmond, is somebody came to me and said, can anybody outside of being a member of NACRA or VaCCRA can access the forum details? Because it seemed to me that you're open to outside people who would be not doing any upgrades or talks or answers honestly, if they're not members or have no interest, but just to, I hate to use the word, disrupt.
Yeah, the forums, most of them are visible to anyone who visits the site, but not all of them. Only members who have logged in can make a post to the forums. And the posts, although you can have a nickname or a handle, that's really not to obscure who you are. All of us as members are listed in the membership roster, and so that anonymous comments are not encouraged. Having said that, sometimes there are things people wish to discuss that are very personal or confidential, or perhaps critical of their provider, and they don't wish to identify themselves as a critic to the provider. In those cases, I recommend that you send a personal email to me and explain the circumstances, and we'll figure out a way for you to express yourself without identifying yourself.
Okay, thank you. Luana, I had a question for you. So you mentioned that we're going to extend our footprint to affiliates. So if affiliate is it doesn't have to be a CCRC is what you're saying, is any managed community for seniors. Is that correct?
that is what the definition that we've expanded our our footprint to allow, yes. And those individual organizations or groups of organizations will have to agree and complete a memorandum of understanding with the board, the NACRA board, to ensure that we have the same mission, the same visions, and express to the board what, if any, services they would be looking for from NACRA to participate and further their organization, as well as we are available for groups that are trying to form an organization. Richmond, I think, has a slide that kind of demonstrates the layout of what an affiliate looks like versus what NACRA looks like with VaCCRA. And you might bring that up, Richmond, so that we might give a visual of this concept of what affiliates look like on the slides that we prepared for our presentation to the board, our board, in order to pass the bylaws change. Do you have that available, Richmond?
You're muted, Richmond.
Yes, I'm going to try to share it now. Are you able to see my slide now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, the types of organizations, NACRA and VaCCRA are both membership organizations, meaning that the organization is composed of people who are individual members. Some of the affiliate organizations will be federation of independent organizations.
Okay.
So an example of that would be the New Jersey group, Orange. Orange it doesn't have any individual members. The communities that are licensed by the state of New Jersey as CCRCs are their membership. So the type of model that VaCCRA has wouldn't work for them because they don't have any members. But the communities that are members of their association have members, and many of those people are NACRA members. But this type of affiliation works better for them. And then
Richmond, could you show the slide that has the different pictures? Right
yes,
now, we're just looking at types of affiliate organizations.
Yeah, there we go.
Oops.
I think it's great when we can look at the slide you've made, because it lays out what the different organizations look like in their composition.
okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, when I was using the space bar to activate the microphone, and when that apparently isn't compatible with the slideshow feature. So hang on a second, and I'll get the slide back again.
Is there a CCRC organization in New Jersey, or they only do this?
There are
independent thing?
23 of them in New Jersey, and they are members of Orange.
Okay, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Uh,
So Orange is the high level, and then you have individual communities, and under that, people are members of NACRA.
right.
Okay, good.
Okay, now I'm going to be working this a little differently than I was before. Are you seeing this full screen, or are you seeing?
Not full screen, but
Not
that's
full
okay. We
screen.
can
But
get it.
this is working okay for you?
Yeah,
All right, this diagram, I've represented affiliate organizations with a hexagon. The NACRA organization is a big circle, and then the little characters. An individual resident has a white background, and an individual NACRA member is filled in the blue background. So this is just a graphic representation. We estimate that there are about 1 million people in the U.S. that live in managed communities of various kinds, mostly CCRCs. In NACRA, we have individual members, and we also have the Virginia group, which is a group of individual members that is a state organization. So that's the prototype, and that's where we were starting from. But that left us with lots of other people who were not members, not able to really affiliate except as individuals. So we looked at Orange, and as I mentioned before, Orange is an organization of other organizations, which I've represented here as groups within these hexagons. So the way that we relate to them and connect them with the national network is through a memorandum of agreement that defines what we do for them and what they do for us, and gives them the license to use our logo and aligns them with our national mission and purposes. And then the third type of organization is a hybrid. Pennsylvania represents that. There are groups that are members of the Pennsylvania organization. You might think of them as chapters of Pennsylvania. And so Pennsylvania has some NACRA members and many people who are not NACRA members. And once again, we will relate to them with a memorandum of agreement that defines the services and the relationship between us. What we know from experience is that it's probably much more economical for a state organization to affiliate with NACRA and have Club Express services than it is to do it the way Pennsylvania does it, where they are paying for their own website, and they have their own method of collecting dues and managing their membership and planning their events and all of the other things that Virginia can do using the NACRA tools. So those are basically the kinds of relationships that we anticipate. And the memorandum of agreement, of course, is completely flexible. So if some other type of organization shows up that should be affiliated, we can accommodate that by negotiating what they need with them individually. Is that pretty clear? Any questions about this?
That was very helpful.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now, and if we need anything else, Luana or anyone else, I will put it back on.
Well, thank you, Richmond, because I think those slides really lay out the different relationships that we're hoping to bring together to strengthen the NACRA organization. And by increasing our capacity as NACRA, we are not only fulfilling our goals, but we're making every member or organization that's involved with us stronger and giving them the ability to use the tools they choose to use or not. And so that's the flexibility that the bylaws change allowed us to do. And that is how we are moving forward, trying to give NACRA and each individual organization the greatest strength and ability to be heard, understood, talk about their issues. And that's why Club Express is so important with the forums, the blogs. And there's also discussions down the road that the information that is gleaned off of these forums and blogs can be used for NACRA discussions with different members, partners, and people involved in these areas to further strengthen each individual group that is affiliated.
Thanks.
Okay, are there any other questions for either Luana or for Richmond?
Martha, turn on your voice.
Got it? Okay, I'm Martha Cole Glenn at Cedarfield in Richmond, Henrico County. When we started to, and we're the largest VaCCRA community, when we started to really build our membership, people were and people were told they could opt out of getting forums, and it didn't really work that well, and people got on it and got inundated about something they didn't understand, and they got upset about their membership and they wanted to opt out. So now I don't know how many people have opted into the forums. I know that I'm not. Now that the forums are being consolidated in a way that people could seek information about their particular interest, I wonder if there could be an article in Lifeline explaining the value of forums.
Well, I think that we tried to cover that in the February edition. Richmond put 6 pages into that Lifeline issue regarding just this topic, Martha, about why it's important to be involved and also how to make those choices on not getting any emails from the different forums that you're involved in unless you choose to receive them.
I saw that, and a lot of people didn't. Unfortunately, it was long, and a lot of people, sometimes people, the longer something is, the less people read. I'm just
Well,
wondering, maybe there could be a bullet thing, maybe in the next Lifeline reinforcing it.
I have no problem for that consideration. And also, we have offered to do a individual Zoom seminar for VaCCRA members to go through just those individual steps that show people what they need to do and how to access those different options if the VaCCRA member and board would like to set up such a webinar for VaCCRA members.
That is wonderful, and I've highlighted that with a giant star because I've been trying to get the people who do this kind of thing in our group at Cedarfield to have a Zoom for individuals. For example, we have a room where people can go, but I'm at home on my laptop. Sylvia is at home. Um, we need to have more people understand how they can do this from their home. And so that
I'd be,
great.
let me make 2 offers on that. Obviously my time's limited, but I have from time to time given individual tours of the forums to individual people using Zoom so they can look at the screen with me. I would also be happy to train someone in the VaCCRA group to do this. So it's for many people, It's much easier to learn if they can put their hands on their own computer and navigate through the screens. And I'm expert in training people that way, and I can train other people to do that.
Well, that is wonderful. And along with the explanation, hopefully there's an explanation of what to do when things don't work, because today it didn't work for me to go in through the link that Chuck sent. But Claudia Blake had taught me to do it another way, and that's how I got on today. So
Okay, well, I think that's a great idea, Richmond, to have somebody trained within VaCCRA, because I think there's a lot of interest. I know I'm extremely interested in those forum that come out, and plan on following several of them, because I think it's our way forward with getting some changes here in Virginia as far as legislation.
Right, and you can have your own VaCCRA forums that
Mhm.
are available, and address issues of concern specifically within your state. You don't have
Right.
to just join the national forum on topics. So that's why it would be really good for me to work with one or two people from your group so that you can get the full benefit of this very important feature of our system.
Okay, well, listen, thank you so much for that. I'll keep my stars here on my notes and talk with Penny about those when I talk to her tomorrow, and we'll see where we can go with that. We'll be in touch. Any other questions from residents?
Betty Finley's had her hand up.
Okay,
Brenda Finley.
But
Brenda?
unmute. Brenda. Brenda, unmute.
unmute.
Did.
Oh, yes, because the two of you are on the same thing. Good. Yeah, you can't do it. Yeah. Yeah, Brenda and you and Charlie are linked in some way, and I think it's
Oh.
causing,
And
No, we're
Charlie
not.
needs to turn
Yeah.
his speaker off.
yes.
He's muted.
No, the loudspeaker on his computer needs to be turned off.
Got it. Wow.
Yes. Write it down, send that to Betty.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
And Betty, I just want to reiterate, if the group as a whole wants to have that webinar in addition to what Richmond is talking about doing, please let us know, and we will schedule a date that works for both groups and have the overall webinar for anybody that wants to attend.
Thank you so much. We will do that. Okay, are we able to hear anything from Brenda? I don't see, oh, I've got a new, here we go.
Can you
Chat.
hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. It was a short statement. We have 3 members here at Lakewood in Richmond, Virginia, who did not want to receive the forum emails. Claudia helped me in about 3 minutes take them off of the list. That's all I had to say, but it's easy to do, I believe.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, we did
Both-
that. We did that, but we just want to get them back on now that it is more consolidated.
Okay.
okay. Well, we'll work with Richmond on doing that. Is there anything else? Any further questions or comments? Okay, Luana and Richmond, I want to thank you so much for this presentation. I know I have learned things, much better visuals than we were working on with the bylaws. You've done a terrific thing. This has been very, very informative, and I know we're going to be contacting you for these webinars for VaCCRA as a whole, and also I think each individual community is going to want to have one also. So we'll get some people trained who can do that and move forward with it. So thank you so very, very much for today's presentation.
Well,
Our
thank you
pleasure.
for having us.
Okay, good.
All right,
All righty.
we'll leave your meeting. And Betty, I don't know if you're going to send a recording of the whole meeting or just this part of the meeting, but whatever part, we'd appreciate it so the rest of the board can see how the meeting went and what we presented.
We certainly will.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.
So long now.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's go to our business meeting. First thing up, the vote on the earlier board minutes is going to wait until later. Right now, I'd like to have Martha Cole Glenn give her government relations report. Martha?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm just really grateful to Luana and Richmond for giving us the time to give us some great advice. And
Yes.
I've had an opportunity to have several conversations with Luana about various things, and I'm very excited that we have her as the president of NACRA. This year is going to be a busy year for politics in Virginia.
Yes, it is.
This week, the General Assembly and the governor are going back and forth on items he vetoed and items that they want to do something about and sending them back to the governor. So some things are still in limbo. But wait, June 17th is primary day. And then on November 4th, we have our election for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, all the House of Delegates seats, and numerous city, county, and school board positions. In the Congress, we know that changes are being rumored in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. For right now, the committee is just monitoring these efforts on our own and through AARP. Back in the General Assembly, a bill establishing a prescription drug affordability board was passed and sent to the governor. And VaCCRA sent an email blast asking members to ask the governor not to veto it. But he did for the second year in a row. And the General Assembly did not get a 2/3 majority to override it. But if Abigail Spanberger is elected and the Democrats control the General Assembly, it's likely this bill will have success in 2026. Or maybe alternatively, if that doesn't happen, hopefully those who voted against it will see the light about how good this is for everyone. The Government Relations Committee is very much aware of the opposition to legislating resident representation on CCRC boards. It just remains too great at this time to overcome. But this year we went for a less complicated goal. We drafted an amendment to a provision in the State Corporation Commission statute that will enhance communications between management and residents. Legislation is so boring, but this is important. Instead of allowing the companies to substitute a designated representative for their board of directors to hold quarterly meetings with CCRC residents. The amendment would require that the CEO and a board member attend 2 of these meetings. I hope you've all read the article in the VaCCRA Spring newsletter, which demonstrates that our action plan, talking with all affected parties, resulted in success in one community, and that's Cedarfield. And since our CEO, seeing, I guess, how good we were at lobbying people on this, and that I think Leading Age put a bee in his bonnet that said, this isn't a bad idea. He went along with it. And so our CEO agreed to participate in two meetings. One was held in January, and hopefully the next one will be our budget meeting, which I guess is the end of May. Therefore, we decided to postpone a legislative effort. But we are now, the General Assembly is over. We are now going to go to our board members, our VaCCRA board members, to ask them to contact their legislators with the letter Penny earlier sent out about VaCCRA and specifically mention senior issues that they would like these legislators to pay attention to. Then after we do that, we are going to go to the Commerce Committee members in the House and the Senate to talk about this amendment. Meanwhile, we're suggesting that our communities, we're emphasizing that you don't always have to get a bill passed and signed to get what you want. And we think we provided a template for our communities to do the same thing that we've done here at Cedarfield. So I invite all VaCCRA members to discuss these issues with their legislators. And I'm hoping that anyone with legislative experience will inquire about joining our committee, because we need a lot of worker bees to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Thank you.
I second your comment about getting people to join your committee. I think it's a very worthwhile one. And we do need many, many more. There are so many issues that need to be covered. And, you know, just you alone or a couple of your members cannot do it for us. So we have got to find those additional people.
Excuse me, I just want to emphasize, we really need people who understand the process and not that are just interested. We really can't teach them how to do this. We need people who kind of understand some kind of process at the local, state, or national level.
Well, that's very, very true. Maybe what you need to do is to put together some kind of a seminar to let people know what that process is. I think it's just important to understand it.
We've done that. We've done that in our committee. We have done that. We gave a little dog and pony show on what it means to be a lobbyist. So so I think people who have been in the process they don't need to have a seminar on what to do. And the
No,
other,
but for those who might be interested and who don't understand the process, it might be a good idea to give that again.
and what would that accomplish?
More interest and a greater chance of getting people into the process to learn more about it and to help you.
Well, I think most of these people are retired now. I mean, they need to have worked in the process, is what I'm saying.
Well, that may be a little hard to find.
Yep. Okay. We just need a
Okay.
few people. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you for that report. It was a good one. Next, we have our community reports. And there were several questions that were given for people
Betty?
to, yes,
There's a question on the chat line if you, for Martha.
okay. I'm glad you saw that because I don't have that on my screen. Martha, let's go ahead with this
That
question.
Where is it? What
it's
is
on the chat. If
It
you
says,
click
did
on
Chris
the bottom
Anderson-
there where it says chat,
Yeah.
you'll see
Where's
the
that?
question.
Question is, did Chris
Oh, I
Henderson?
see. Wait a minute. Here,
agree-
I got it, I guess.
Okay,
Did Chris Henderson agree on a board member? That's interesting. In our meeting that we had in November, Chris said no to a board member, but in the meeting that he came to in January, he said, and maybe I'll bring a board member. So we're inching we're inching in that direction. And I have just written him a letter reiterating that and saying I'm looking forward to seeing him and hopefully a board member at the budget meeting. Is there another question for me?
Glenn
No,
Scott is waving his hand.
Okay,
Glenn,
Mute, unmute.
you're still talking. We can't hear you.
My laptop doesn't like it unless my face is right in the camera. Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Yes, and we
Okay,
can
great.
see you.
Okay, and you can see me. Martha, thank you so much for your work. That is kind of, sometimes you feel like it's a losing battle, but for the folks here at Lakewood, and I'm not speaking for everyone, I will say there is a lot of interest in legislation to provide for a board member. And while we as a community can go ahead on our own, I think Delegate Willett and Senator Van Valkenburg are definitely in favor of residents having more say. That was pretty much their words. I'm hoping that VaCCRA will support that, will support legislation to that effect on behalf of the state association. Covenant Woods has had all kinds of luck in getting board representation, but and Cedarfield seems to be moving that way, but you don't have it at this point. I think I might is not really what we're looking for. So I would just encourage you to support having VaCCRA take a firm position on this for the upcoming legislation. Before, when Senator Willett's bill came up, we were just getting started as a chapter. We didn't even know that testimony was being given. And now I think VaCCRA is a lot stronger and our chapter is a lot stronger. And I think people will come out and work for that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, I need to comment on that. And I feel very strongly about that. We are all willing to work to have. Actually, I personally feel we're going to get we're going to get members representation on the board without legislation. I think it's going to be more effective trying it that way. But I've explained to Cedarfield that, and I'll explain again to Lakewood. And at Lakewood, you all are kind of split. You have people who want resident on the board, and you have an entity that thinks we don't need one. So I've explained to Cedarfield that the committee would be very happy to look toward working on this and to going back to Rod Willett when our community pushes harder within the community to do it. For example, and I've told the community this, we need to go back to the document that we sent some time ago through the resident council to the board, because we have been told that the management will only work with the resident council. And so I've told our community that. And I just think that you need to do the same thing at Lakewood, and then we will have the push to be able to go back to our legislators.
Hmm.
Did I silence you with that? I just feel like
I'm just thinking about that. You know, one of the problems we have here at Green Spring is we recently have a new resident council chair and members of the council. Last year, the previous president did not support VaCCRA. And I think one of the big things is we here have to work at getting that support. They have to understand that we're not anti what they're trying to do, because what they're doing is advocating for the residents here, but VaCCRA has a big role that can play in getting these things done. And we just have to work at that here at Green Spring. And I think that may be the case in other communities where they're not supported by their resident council, which is unfortunate.
I don't think we're supported by our by the president of our resident council either.
Mhm. Well,
And
it's certainly
so
something we have to work on. Yeah,
we just have to keep working on it. We have tremendous programs. We have a really big membership, but actually, I saw a big difference in the way the residents felt about the management when Chris Henderson came here in January. And so people right now aren't so uncomfortable. And so we're working on it that way. And I think with building, and I do want to mention the tremendous help that Chuck Webb and Barbara Rose gave when we were working on this amendment. We have finally, I believe, gotten the respect that we need from the CEO and the board. And so now we're just working further on it. We'll see what happens at the budget meeting. But as I said again, we need a push from within the community through our resident council. We need more support. We need more support from the individual communities to
I don't know, maybe me.
to be able to do the work to get legislation introduced.
right. Okay, thank you, Martha, very much. Brenda, you have a question?
I would like to say, I don't know any member of VaCCRA here at Lakewood who's against legislation of putting I'm talking about residents, Martha, who I don't think there's a single resident who is against having members on the board of directors. There have been objections from management, but not from residents.
What are management's objections?
One objection is they have 5 communities, and if they put even one on the board from each of the 5 communities, that'd be 5 more board members. And they don't want 5 more board members.
I wonder why not? Are they trying to hide something?
It may be it may be a matter of control. I don't know. Glenn, what do you think?
Betty, we have more than one community and we have one resident member on the board. So you don't have to have 5 members from each community, like Pinnacle has several communities.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, here at Greenspring, we have 21 communities and we have 0 members on the board. That was done away with the 30th of March in 2021, when I was president, and all the duties of that resident director were placed on the president's shoulders, which really made it a 24/7 job. And they would never give me a good reason for why they eliminated those positions.
You have to just keep pushing.
I know.
Now, what you said, Brenda, I would like you to ask the head of your resident council to call me and tell me that she supports this, because I have the impression that she thinks the situation you have now is good enough. So I would love to hear from the head of your resident council.
Okay. I think this is something we all can certainly work on to try and become much closer to our resident council and encourage this kind of thing. I think, Martha, you've done a great job in doing that, and I applaud you for it.
May I just, I'll be quiet after I say this one thing.
Okay.
We, at our resident council meetings, we don't want to be a committee on the resident council because actually we think we're stronger than the committees. But at every resident council meeting, we give a report.
Mm-hmm.
So if at your resident council meetings, if you don't do that, you might have your leader give a report at the resident council about what VaCCRA is doing.
No, I think that is extremely important. And that was something I raised with the previous council president, and he wasn't amenable to it.
Okay.
We now have a new president, and I'm going to speak with her and make that suggestion, because that was done here when we did in fact have a board member on the
That's right.
board. So we need to relook that whole issue. Okay, any more questions for Martha or any more comments on what her group is working towards?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yeah,
Can you hear? This is Charlie, Lakewood.
can barely hear you.
You can?
We can't hear you. You're muted now, Charlie. You've muted yourself.
Speak up.
That's the problem.
Now do it.
Maybe if you have Brenda get off.
I don't know if this is worth it. Brenda and I are on two different computers, so it may not be worth it, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, maybe we can try later. Let's move ahead and look at the reports on communities responding to the questions that Penny had put into the input. Let's start with Covenant Woods. Naomi?
Hi, everybody. Covenant Woods this year has focused on executive managers at our monthly meetings. In January, the CFO started up the year, followed by the CEO, and finally, the Director of Sales and Marketing. Next month will be the Director of Facilities. Our members are delighted. Our membership reflects the resident interest. Our membership continues to grow. Our three questions. What are the features in the spring newsletter that people enjoyed? They liked the article about the Grand PAL program as described as a best practice, and the sustainability project report, and the list of legislators. And I think that continues to be widely supported. They also enjoyed the article about, again, community sustainability and environmental policy. The second question was, what are your communities doing to revitalize or build new structures? At Covenant Woods, we're not really building anything new. We have expanded and we are comfortable at the size we are. And so some people answered was it's not applicable. However, what we are doing is we're enriching the campus grounds through grants to replace asphalt with permeable pavers everywhere they can be done. So that's been a really something that everybody is enjoying. The third one was, would it be helpful for VaCCRA to demonstrate the value of using forums as illustrated? How interesting that Richmond talked about that today. My information was that I like the forums, so my answer is yes. It would be a good idea to demonstrate the value. And I think the value, the other person said, I think the forums are valuable and would enjoy a demonstration of searching for content. And I think that's was everybody's kind of view of it's cumbersome, even though Richmond really understands it and understands it well. And I've been trained in Club Express, but even that didn't help me. It's a lot of data to try to absorb and process. So I think it would be helpful, and I certainly will take up the call to have him come and do a Zoom and get everybody on the right page as to what we can do with the forums. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Lakewood. Glenn Scott.
Can everyone hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good. Everyone can hear me? No? Well, all right. Okay.
Okay, we can hear you. Just make it a little bit louder.
Oh, all right. Okay, thank you. I didn't exactly follow the format, and I apologize for that. I would like to say, as far as the forum, we have some people that have said, I just don't want to see them, and I've been said if they're really bugging you, you can just turn that feature off. However, why not leave it on? And if you don't want, if a topic's not of interest to you, then you delete the message.
Yeah.
A lot of good information. We had I turned in the history of the fee increases. I think to note, back in 23, we had an 8% fee increase, and shortly after that, several from corporate management and 2 board members. That's how we got board members on campus, presented the rationale behind the increase. The explanations given were not well received, and there were numerous questions after that. We had a panel program on hospice, and Chuck Webb came. Also on the panel was a nurse from a local hospice group and a resident. This was very well attended. Chuck was here earlier for a discussion on Medicare Advantage. Chuck can bring in the crowd. The community liaison from the State Corporation Commission Bureau of Insurance will be our presenter for our June program. She will discuss governance of CCRCs in Virginia. We have requested once more that the executive director at Lakewood permit us to broadcast our programs on our in-house TV channel. He will not permit this, as our group is considered by her a special interest club, such as the Beekeepers or the Quilting Club, and meetings of this nature are not broadcast. And it's good to hear about the good relationships that some CCRCs have with their executive director. We need to work on that. Interesting, stair chair type lifts were installed in the stairwells at our 5 older apartment buildings. There have been numerous elevator breakdowns. Recently, an elevator was out of service for 2 weeks or longer. These units also have backup battery power. A lot of commotion on campus when the Aldersgate, that's a community from North Carolina, their bus showed up. Phones started ringing like crazy. Residents were on campus for 2 days, and we were told that LifeSpire management has no current intentions with Aldersgate. It was just a show and tell. That's what they said. Construction is to start soon for 2 new buildings with 14 larger apartments per building. The plan is then to add 3 more buildings in the future after these 2. Various concerns have been expressed about existing infrastructure, parking, dining, long overdue remodeling of the assisted living, and we were told that focus groups would be formed to get resident input from that. In 2020, LifeSpire entered into a joint venture with Pinnacle Living to form Senior Living Partners of Virginia to provide home health services and to promote health and care for seniors from a broad cross-section of the communities served by these 2 organizations. These services were provided through affirmation pathways for living. There were challenges that made it difficult to achieve the volume and scale necessary to sustain this business. Affirmation Pathways for Living has closed, and LifeSpire is working with the affirmation team members to find employment opportunities at Lakewood or at Pinnacle Communities. Resident satisfaction surveys had a 54% response. Residents here are queried on the month of their anniversary, and we switched to a different type of resident satisfaction survey, and our executive director here said that she would call residents that gave them an unsatisfactory review, so hopefully something could be done to improve their response rate. we began a formal fire drill process where each building will have a fire drill annually. Our building went first. It's a 3-story older building, and the residents in our building felt that it went very well. They really went all out in making sure that when the alarm went off, workers from all over campus came to the building to see what was going on. A new point of sale system was installed in the dining room. The servers used handheld tablets that communicate directly with the kitchen. Overall, it was a smooth transition. The current Lifespire Director of Finance resigned after 2 or 3 months of employment, and he came from Covenant Woods. The previous person in this position resigned after about 2 years. So that's just smatterings of what's going on here at Lakewood.
Okay, thank you very much. Some interesting points you bring up. Next we have Cedarfield, Sylvia Fine.
Could I just ask a question?
Yes.
Glenn Scott, did you find out why this person resigned?
No, rumblings and mumblings, but we have not found out. And just after the other person staying a couple of years, there are questions, but
That's very worrisome. Maybe they don't like the management.
we hope it's that they're okay with the residents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have a report from Cedarfield?
We do indeed.
Okay, hi Sylvia.
Good morning. Good morning from Cedarfield. First of all, let me report that our membership stands at 212. Hooray. We've had many new move-ins during the last few months, so we're planning something we're calling Bagels and Joe. In other words, we're inviting new residents to join us for bagels and coffee, take a break from unpacking, meet other residents, and swap some moving in stories and learn about VaCCRA. Did you all know that May is called Older Americans Month? It truly is. The theme is Flip the Switch on Aging. In keeping with our commitment to educate our VaCCRA members, this month we will be offering a program on ageism. The program is called Ageism Unmasked, and our speaker is a Dr. Tracy Gendron, chairman of the VCU Department of Gerontology, as well as the director of the Virginia Center on Aging. Her topic will be Everything You Know About Aging is Wrong. Now, doesn't that sound like a lot of fun?
Mm-hmm.
The conclusion of our 3-part series, Is Your House in Order, was held last month. The topic of this last meeting was how to approach end-of-life decisions by using the 5 wishes living will. This document addresses personal, emotional, and spiritual needs and wishes. About 75 people attended this presentation. I'm sure you all read Martha Colglen's article in the VaCCRA Spring newsletter, Successful Use of the Legislative Process. Many of our VaCCRA members commented how informative this article was and how much they learned, but most of all, how they enjoyed reading something written by our very own. Great feedback and marvelous PR. I encourage everyone to think about getting your name in print for a future newsletter. Enjoy the nice weather. I send good wishes to everyone for a lovely Easter and Passover season. Let us all pray for peace in the world.
Thank you, Sylvia. Any questions for Sylvia? Some great ideas in there for taking up in other communities, I believe. Okay, let's continue on with Westminster at Lake Ridge. Sarah, are you there?
I am here.
Okay.
I'm going to quickly respond to the 3 questions that Penny sent us. let you know that they're removing a tree next door to me. So there'll be some background noise. No one in my community has mentioned the VaCCRA newsletter nor the NACRA newsletter. I am concerned that they're not carefully reading them, and I try to talk them up, but I have no feedback about what they found most interesting. Our community recently purchased 10 acres of adjacent land thanks to very large contributions from several residents. The plan is to build 2 apartment-type buildings for 60 units. Most of us here are very concerned where they're going to come up with the money to build these buildings, but they have a very beautiful architectural plan already developed. And lastly, yes, we could benefit from trying to educate our members about forums. A few do occasionally mention to me about a forum they have read, but I don't think many people are really following them. And that's my report.
Okay, any questions for Sarah? All right, let's move to Goodwin House and Bailey's Crossroad.
Good morning. Re-question 1, reviewing the newsletter with a group of GHBC residents, the following 3 articles created the most interest. Martha Cole Glenn's article on legislation, Dana Khanna's article on sustainability, and Joan Lewis and Mike Molino's article on cooperation among board, CEO, and residents. In addition, we had interest from a Charlottesville independent VaCCRA member on the cooperation article. Re-question 3, Lifeline issue and forums. We believe it would be very helpful to provide a how-to demonstration of the NACRA forums to our residents. I'm going to concentrate primarily on question 2, revitalizing and building new structures. Goodwin Living mission is to support, honor, and uplift the lives of older adults and those who care for them. About 5 years ago, our board voted to expand the way we serve older adults. We hired a dynamic new president CEO, Rob Liebrick, to lead the way. We bought a rehabilitation program, expanded our hospice to serve both in-house and metro area people, and created a home health program to serve those in the metro area outside our CCRCs. And that's why our name changed from Goodwin House to Goodwin Living. Early on in this process, at a time of very low interest rates, we bought land in Chantilly, that's the far west of our area, to build a new community at some later point. Then we bought Pinnacle's low-performing Hermitage across the street from Goodwin House, Alexandria. We now call it the View Alexandria. It is a rental community with independent living, assisted living, and memory care. We made some upgrades, hired a very good manager and an exceptional marketing person. Occupancy rates are now above 93%. One of the reasons we were interested in that property was that it had several undeveloped acres, rare in the Washington metro area. We are going to build a new traditional life plan community facing the old building. It will be called Goodwin House Seminary Road. We hired a real estate developer to help us move in a more cost-effective manner through this process. We plan to fund through bonds, so in August, we will open a sales office to get prospective owners to pay 10% down, and we need 80% of these so that we can get funding. Using these funds, we will also spend several $million to upgrade the View Alexandria, the old building. The Goodwin Living Board and Management recognize that we need to make sure our current life plan communities are viable and fresh, appealing to us and new residents. We have been upgrading our assisted living and skilled nursing areas, Wi-Fi, and have been putting in new bathrooms and kitchens in apartment renovations. In addition, we have added pickleball and bocce ball areas outside. At GHBC, we are doing major renovations in our common areas. We are in the midst of upgrading our oldest underground spaces, such as our auditorium, media room, whatnot shop, woodworking shop. We learned that we did not bring input from our residents early enough into the design process. Things had to be changed in the design to make it work better for residents' needs. Now we are in the design process to redevelop our main floor common spaces for the next 20 years. Designs will focus on acoustics, technology, and accessibility. Focus groups and resident council members' input was given early in the process. We are now looking at the new designs and encouraging input from all residents and team members. Posters showing the old and new designs are outside all relevant member areas. We've had a town hall on this. Residents will be able to post online or via print comments about all the design plans. Various communication methods have been used with our finance committee, town halls, and special meetings to ensure residents understand the projects and that we can afford them. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I think the only one left is Greenspring. Dan Ancona was to do the report, but I don't see him in the participants list. So I will go ahead and just tell you what we've been doing here at Greenspring. We have just completed our repositioning of all of the 3 neighborhoods on campus. This includes all the common areas, all the hallways throughout the buildings. It was a complete overhaul, in some cases, you know, down to the studs and replacing walls and whatnot that have been damaged. But that was done. Part of that is also this past year, well, it was several years actually, constructing new dining rooms, new dining room areas, changing how things were laid out in the past, redoing the kitchens. We had a new pool built with a sauna and fitness center attached. They're continually working on the landscaping throughout the community itself. We are totally built out. There is no space for any new construction, so new construction will not take place here at all. We completed right after COVID a new parking garage, so we have some additional parking areas for visitors and also residents, but parking is still a real issue here. It was not anticipated that we would have so many residents still driving and so many 2-car couples living here. So that's pretty much it on our build out and what has been done here. As someone else mentioned, we've had elevator problems. Our community is 25 years old and the elevators date back from then or shortly thereafter. So we have difficulties getting parts for a lot of these elevators, and we've had a couple that were down for a month. Luckily, the buildings are connected so they can, residents can move to another elevator in another building, which is adjacent, which is certainly helping. The fire drill exercises, we have those probably 3 or 4 times a year. We have a fire department that is a 5-minute drive away. So if we do have any need for a fire department here, they're very, very close. But they do come and exercise within our building. We have, we're 6 floors high, and they come and do their practice evacuation of residents from the top floor down through the stairwells, which I think is very interesting. It gives us an opportunity to participate in some case if you're pretty able-bodied, and also just to see what they're doing. We also had a director that was just reassigned to our newest Erickson community, which is here in in Fairfax County, about 5 miles away from here. It's called Woodley Chase. They have just completed their first phase of 3 phases, and she will be taking over that new community, which will of course include organizing the residents into, the resident councils and activities that they have during the week. So that's going to be a big job. I'm anxious to see how they do with that. And that's about it. I don't have the price increase for us. I think it was 5.5% this year. They try and keep it down as best they can, but sometimes it's just impossible. And it could be worse next year. So that's all I have on that issue. So let's go into continued new business. I'm calling for volunteers to serve on our ad hoc nominating committee for elections for the 2026 officers and board members. If any of you are willing and would like to participate in this, please let either myself know or Penny. Just email us and we will talk to you about that more. The election for new officers and board members will be held at the fall annual membership meeting, which will be Friday, October 24th. We need a minimum of 3 members on that ad hoc committee, a maximum of 5, and are looking for those from various communities so that we get a broader base of officers and directors. Okay, again, so we're looking for volunteers for the nominating committee. You can contact me or Penny and give us those names. Okay. Penny has started working on the summer newsletter. The articles and pictures for that newsletter are due from June 1st to June 5th. And the earlier, the better, of course. Suggested articles with pictures would be community efforts during the spring garden week, beautification of campuses, interesting refurbishments of existing structures that are going on at your locations, inside and outside, and also more on, the environmental activities that are taking place at your locations. Okay, any questions on that? The publication for that newsletter is in June.
Yeah, excuse
Oh.
me, excuse me, hello?
Go ahead.
I think the time for submitting articles to the newsletter is May 1st to 15th.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry. I just noticed that. So 1st to the 15th for the articles and any pictures. And that's for publication of the newsletter from June 1st to the 5th. Okay, a couple of other announcements just to put on your calendar. Be sure and check VaCCRA's master calendar for any updating meetings. We show particularly when the legislative committee is meeting, executive council and board meetings. Meeting dates for the executive committee will be held on an as-needed basis. They're not regularly scheduled now. The next summer board meeting is scheduled for Friday, July 25th, beginning at 10 a.m. in the morning. And again, the fall membership meeting with the voting for officers and board members is Friday, October 24th. Are there any other announcements that anyone has? Any other questions? Okay, I cannot see raised hands, so if
I
you're...
want to thank you, Betty, for stepping in and doing a very good job.
Yes, very good. Very good.
Well, this was a little tough because I've had computer problems and It's just, that's another new thing that we did here in Erickson is they swapped out a lot of the Wi-Fi lines. And so we were all down for a single day, and then they came in and reconnected everybody. And for some reason, with two commuters side by side, my husband and I share an office. It was a little rough connecting. And this morning when I went to connect for this meeting, no Wi-Fi. So I had to quickly call corporate and say, you guys got to help me.
Charlie has his hand up. Betty, Charlie
Yes.
has his hand up.
Okay, Charlie?
I'm hoping I don't get an echo here. I'd just like to mention something. Can you hear me okay?
You can hardly hear you.
Can you speak a little louder?
Okay. This is just a quick announcement for the good of the cause. Can you hear?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. This is a book that I've recently read. It's published by ARP. It's called Disrupting the Status Quo of Senior Living. Every one of us ought to read this thing. And it just so happened that I ran into yesterday our CEO for LifeSpire, which includes the 5 campuses, including Lakewood. He'd never heard of it. And I suggested very strongly that he read it, and it might help relationships between the residents and the so-called management here. And so in the course of being overnight, he found a copy of the book and said he would read it. My suggestion is I wrote a book review about this, and it's on the NACRA blog. And so you can check it out there. But my suggestion is that every board member ought to read this thing, and every CEO of a VaCCRA NACRA ought to read it. And further, if they ever have a search committee to find a new executive director, that they ought to make sure that the executive director has read this thing too. So I can't say strongly enough how good this is. The basic premise is that we needed to be treated as citizens and not as just clients or consumers. And I hope some of you have read this. So I just endorse this strongly and pass it on for whatever it's worth. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Charlie. I totally agree with you. I have that book. I've read portions of it. It is excellent. And it's one that more people need to read, management and residents, because it gives you some real food for thought
Can you
and food for conversations.
can you
Yes.
announce the name of the book again, please?
Could you type it in the chat?
Well,
Disrupting the status quo of senior living.
Okay.
And it's published by ARP.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
We've shared it here at Cedarfield. We have copies in our library.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
So there's a
good idea.
The book review is on the blog for NACRA.
Okay.
Okay.
I had one more thing. I wanted to thank Chuck Webb for stepping in to make sure everything's running because Claudia was out, and he's done a great job, and everybody enjoyed it, including our speakers. So thank you, Chuck.
Yep. Thank you, Chuck. And I think everyone enjoyed our speakers today. I think Luana and Richmond did a great job of explaining how we are moving forward in NACRA, and I think it's a good thing. And I thank all of you for tolerating me getting through this meeting today. It was fairly easy, but still I had some challenges here. Are there any further questions, any further comments? If not, I'd like to take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any opposition to adjourning? Okay, thank you all. Have a good day, good weekend.
Thank you.
Exit leave.